No Simple Road. Yeah, here we go.
I know the road may seem to go on forever and a lifetime.
Guess who's back?
Back in town.
With us. We're back.
Shady's back.
No, Mello's back. Aaron's back. Hey now, No Simple Road family. What's up, everybody?
And Apple's back.
This is Aaron.
And Mel.
And Apple again.
And it's Happy New Year, first off. And thank you for hanging out with us while we took our break in December.
You mean not hanging out with us?
Well, actually, they did hang out with us. People kept listening.
well,
So,
not
for real.
I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it gave those of you that are dedicated listeners that I know several went back and were listening to like catching up
Some
on
people wanted to
older
catch up.
episodes and stuff.
It dawned on me in the midst of the break that we took that
We were on a break.
that we hadn't taken a break, like a real long break like that, since we started the show.
Yeah, 2017.
We took a short break.
Like a week. I think 2 weeks is the longest we've ever gone. That's wild. That's like never taking a vacation from your job. So
Yeah,
it was great.
It was, and we had a lot of family time, a lot of stuff going on. And
We
somebody got married.
Yeah, we married our son off. And
We did.
I like that we married our son off.
we did. Mel actually officiated the wedding. She was the high priestess.
Yeah, I was.
That's pretty sick, Mel.
It was amazing. It was a really heavy last end of the last year. Like so much was going on, and then smack in the middle of it, I had to officiate our son's wedding and get him married off to the woman of his dreams and our new beautiful, awesome daughter-in-law. And yeah, it was a lot. It's a lot of prep, and just post wedding, it made me realize how much I really love my kids.
Yeah.
I knew I loved them already, but like, you know, when you love somebody, you love them, but then you take a look back and you realize, oh my God, I love them because ... and insert answer there. And our kids are so freaking easy and happy-go-lucky in their lives. Like, they made it so easy. They made it so easy. And I'm including Sydney in this too, because they both got married and they both had a similar type of wedding, which was family and friends only. Nothing like real showy. No, 6-piece band.
No $10,000 dress.
$10,000 dress. No, days and days of like having, pre stuff. And it was beautiful. They just wanted to be married to the person that they loved.
Yeah.
And they wanted it to be cool.
And they're both very creative, alone and together. Like you said, seeing Simon. Simon's over here the day before the wedding putting floral arrangements together, and like they did so much of it themselves.
Yeah, they wanted to do that.
It's so much more special.
Yeah,
That's
when
dope.
you do that.
Well, just like in a world where everything is $1,000 for fucking anything you want. Like,
you want ice? That's $10,000.
Yeah, like, I was like, like, what about the bouquet? He's like, oh yeah, I'm making Sabine's bouquet. Like, what? You're making a bouquet?
I took him to go get flowers, and he comes back, gets in the car. He's like, all right, I got him. I was like, so how much did you spend? He's like, $20. Like, fuck
it was
yeah, dude.
such a gorgeous bouquet.
Didn't he like take some crap over the cake too? They're like, this isn't a wedding cake, is it?
Oh,
or
No,
something.
they were going to, my son's awesome. Now he is definitely my son. They were going to charge him like triple if it was a wedding cake.
Yeah, that's what.
So he went in and told him it was my 55th birthday.
Okay, that's what how bad is that the wedding industry is taking advantage of the weddings?
Yeah.
Yeah, Simon.
Oh, that's a $400 cake.
If we would have made boutonnieres, then they would have been like 30 to 50
Your sister made
each.
them.
My sister made them with the stuff that he did. Like, it was so beautiful and so DIY and so perfect.
Chris Cooch from World's Finest did the music.
Yeah. It was like literally everybody there was known. There wasn't somebody there that we didn't know.
Or who are they here with? Aunt Janet? No.
Yeah.
So the end of the year was that and the holidays, and just I needed a break, man. I needed to not have my head
still grieving.
Well, that too, but I needed to not have my head in No Simple Road for a little while. And in the midst of our break, we did a couple of interviews, and this week's interview, I can't believe that we're coming back with this one. Everybody, Jorma Kaukonen, everybody, from Jefferson Airplane, Hot Tuna,
and himself,
and all his other projects,
and the 60s.
This episode was in the midst of the break around the holidays, and as we were sitting having the conversation, I kept thinking to myself, this is why I do No Simple Road. This right here is what I love about, one of the things I love about doing the show is getting to meet people like this.
Yeah.
He's 85 years. He's got 50-year career spanning from, the early 60s with Janis Joplin on stages before she was Janis Joplin, all the way to now. I mean, has played with everybody, was integral in the acid tests and everything that was happening in San Francisco. One of the creators of the San Francisco sound, and just a sweetheart of a human being too.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. You'll hear it here. This was an amazing conversation that we had with him about so many things.
Yeah. And
not only does music, you'll hear he has his own line of CBD stuff. He's got his hands on a lot of stuff.
The end of the interview is classic No Simple Road gold. That's all I have to say. Please listen all the way to the end of this, because it's amazing what happened as we were finishing up.
And he had this was the day before his birthday that we interviewed this, and right before that he had just done his Relics concert.
Yeah.
So if y'all are interested, go to Relics and look that up for his 85th birthday.
So yeah, so we're back, everybody, and we'll be back next week and all that, and normal release schedule for the foreseeable future. We have some dope interviews coming up. We interviewed bluegrass band from Vancouver Island, BC, called the Unfaithful Servants.
That was a great one.
We sat down with Scotty from Homegrown Music Festival.
Yeah, Scotty and Spencer
from the Spencer Marlin Band. And we have a bunch of other stuff coming up. So we're stoked to jump back into 2026 with all of you and keep the ball rolling, man.
Yeah, and hope everybody had a wonderful December, holidays, happenings, and everything, just like we did.
Yeah.
And I think that we would hugely, hugely be remiss if we didn't mention Bobby and his passing this month, which was a really sad time for anybody out there who is into the Grateful Dead or Dead and Company or any of his bands that he's done, been part of. He, like him or not, love him or not, doesn't matter. He made a huge, huge impact on the musical world and what it means to maintain a career your whole life without stopping.
From the time he was 16, man.
Talk about him not taking us taking a break.
Yeah.
He hasn't fucking taken a break.
Well,
He's been on and on. And I'll say one thing that I appreciate about him is him training up the younger, like Billy Strings and everybody else that he's been on stage with that he's like took under his wing. It's really cool to, everybody's like posting, their stuff, their pictures with him and what he means to them or their interactions. And there's a lot of them. And if he was a kind of person that was like selfish or a solo kind, you wouldn't see that.
No.
You'd just be like, oh, sorry, R.I.P. But he actually really was integral to helping people's life and their musical careers.
And not just that, but people like me who went to a Dead show and got their life changed, the trajectory of their life altered.
Yeah, integral.
Because of the thing that he helped to create. I had a complicated relationship with how I feel about Bobby, and I'll just leave it there. I was always more of a Jerry fan than a Bobby fan. And that's not a weird thing in Grateful Dead world. That's a thing. But when I got the news that he had passed, it really hit me hard. I felt it. I felt the weight of another of the like founding fathers of our church, so to speak, leave the room. And the impact that he made on me, one way or the other, was enormous. And I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to see him play so many times and share that with my kids and you, Mel, and Apple. And just, it kind of bummed me out at first because I was like the next day looking and scrolling through Instagram, and like every single post I saw was saying something. And I was thinking, well, so is that what happens now? Like when you're awesome and you die, you get a day's worth of everybody's feed filling up with you, and then that's it. And then everybody moves on.
I mean, that's general.
Yeah, that is kind of life.
Right. But on the other flip side of that, I read a post that Randy made from Woven Free about it. And it kind of like said what I just said. Like Bobby helped to create a world that changed my entire life. And it's no small thing. So I hope that wherever he is, he's with Jerry and Phil and everybody.
And some of the things that came out that we've seen clips of, like I love the one, seemed like a recent interview in the last couple of years where they're talking to Bobby,
he's talking about death.
And he's talking about death not being final, that death is just the beginning of the adventure.
The thing that he said was death, the way I look at it now is death is the reward for a life well lived.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. From like at the very end, doing interviews still and talking about profound stuff. And like, I just feel like he did life right.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? He did life right. He played his little butt off. He shared his
little shorts off.
Yeah,
his little Bobby shorts.
He shared his talents and his knowledge with so many people, and he did it all the way to the very, very, very end.
Yeah. So
And that was always his goal, to stay on the road and keep on playing music. And I love
crushed it.
For everybody said and everything. John Mayer got kudos for what he said, where he's like, I will see you in the music, Bobby.
Yeah. Yep.
Which that's where we will always see Bobby and Jerry and everything when we listen to them. And
I mean, that's one cool thing about a musician is that your music lives on, and
yeah.
your voice, your instrument, like that. And so if you miss them, turn on the tunes.
Put on a little Cassidy.
Yeah. Close your eyes.
Masterpiece.
There you are.
Yeah. I mean, Bobby is a founder of the Grateful Dead and one of the creators of the San Francisco sound. And so is Jorma. And I think it's a perfect segue into getting to the conversation here.
Yeah.
But, I want to remind everybody, on the 24th here in Portland is Dogs in a Pile at the Wonder Ballroom.
Whoop, whoop.
So
with Family Mystic, our local boys opening for them.
And they're playing on the 21st up in Seattle. And if you haven't seen this band, go freaking see them, man. Trust me, you won't be sorry. What were you going to say, Apple?
I was just going to say, talking about this going well together, Jorma with that. I had not seen what he wrote about Bobby until we got down here, and I was looking at his Instagram. It's like 5 paragraphs, but it teared me up. Like to hear what everybody had, especially somebody that's known him since he was like 15.
Yeah, it's wild, man. So, hey, everybody, go to www.nosimpleroad.com and check out what we got on the website. Go check out patreon.com/NoSimpleRoad. That is how you can financially support us. We are getting back into the swing of things here in 2026, and we could really use your financial assistance. So that is patreon.com/No Simple Road. Also, go check out shoptourbus.com. They are our sponsor right now. And they have the dopest Grateful Dead inspired merch out there.
And congratulations to everybody over at Shop Tour Bus for moving to a new headquarters, a bigger headquarters, and keeping your thing going, man. Like Aaron said, they've been with us since the beginning, and they make the dopest shirts.
You are going to get free shipping if you put in the promo code No Simple Road, all one word, when you check out, and help support No Simple Road by supporting shoptourbus.com. Mel?
Yeah. What else?
Keep us going.
How about 5-star reviews? If you guys have listened to some back episodes and got inspired, why don't you leave us a review? Smash that button, 5 stars, and leave us a cute little review.
Yeah, we only had one in 5 months.
All right. And then another way that you can support No Simple Road is by calling the tepid line, 971-808-1524, telling us a fun fact. Why don't you share your stories about Bobby? Why don't you share something about any of the artists that you have listened to here on the show. And then the last thing you can do that's so sweet and thoughtful and helpful for us is telling a friend about No Simple Road. Let them know that Jorma is on and you freaking love it. And we talked about Bobby, and now you sent this episode to somebody and they love it just as much. You can do that. So,
I'm asking everybody that listens to this episode, do me a solid, late Christmas present. Everybody out there, tell one person about this episode and have them listen to it. Okay? If you'd all do that, that would be sweet. And that is also the way that you can help spread the mycelial network that is the No Simple Road family, by telling somebody you love about the show.
It's also the easiest way to do it. You don't have to involve your thumbs or anything. You just open your mouth and you speak to that loved one and you tell them.
Blow hot air. We all do it all the time, man.
Yeah.
Are we ready, Mel?
Yeah.
All right. So we're back. Aren't you glad?
I am.
Aren't you glad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
To be sitting in the seats again, and yeah.
All right, everybody. Without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Jorma Kaukonen.
I'd like to do a song, one of Reverend Davis' songs called Death Don't Have No Mercy. That's the spirit. Death don't have no mercy in this land. Death don't have no mercy in this land. In this land. Come to your house. Won't stay long. Look around the room. Your family will be gone. Death don't have no mercy in this land. He don't never give you time to get ready in this land. Death don't ever give you time to get ready in this land. In this land. Come to your house. Won't stay long, look around the room. Death don't have no mercy in this land.
Okay.
We did it.
Welcome.
We had faith. We knew you could pull it off.
I knew we'd figure it out.
Yeah.
That's right. Jorma, I'm Aaron. Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And Jorma, I'm Mel. I'm so grateful that you decided to hang out with us.
My pleasure. What's for dinner?
I was actually going to ask you that. Let Apple go.
Yeah. Then I'm the third member here. I'm Apple, and thank you so much for joining us. On also happy early birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think I've got. It's tomorrow. Yeah.
Nashville hot chicken, Jorma. That's what's for dinner tonight.
There. What's for dinner tonight, Vanessa?
Star of India, Indian.
Indian takeout.
all right.
That's always good.
We'll be there in
Always.
about 20 minutes. Is that okay?
Whatever you need.
We'll
I'm
chip
there.
in.
Yeah. Yes.
So Jorma, I don't want to like soft shoe the gravity of having you on No Simple Road. I really appreciate you taking the time out
Thanks,
to
man.
hang out with us, man. You have been a integral part of the soundtrack of my life and us
Our
here.
lives.
And it's
Yeah.
a huge honor for us to talk to you, man. So thank you for
Well,
doing this.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it, and I'm not blowing the smoke when I say it wouldn't be the same without you. Be mighty lonesome.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I, tomorrow being your birthday, 85 years.
Lord.
It's insane to think of a career spanning half a century.
Over half a
Yeah.
century, I believe.
So
Yeah, I guess the first time I don't think we can count stuff I did when I was in high school, but I started doing gigs in my early 20s. So yeah, it's been a minute or two.
So what have you learned in all that time that you could share? What wisdom have you learned that you could share with us?
Well, I guess probably the most salient thing that comes to mind now is none of it is any good unless you stay alive.
Oh shit!
And we're all going to laugh a little bit, but it's really, really true. And I've been very fortunate on so many fronts. Not the least of which, hey, stop barking.
Shush, shush. Come here.
Not the least of which is that I've managed to stay pretty healthy all this time. And that's made it possible for me to do a lot of the stuff that I do. Unlike some of my other less fortunate musician friends that had serious problems early in life and are not here to join the conversation.
Right. I mean,
How did you do that? Like, was health part of your, when you were on the road or just in your life? Was that important to you?
I'm going to quote one of my family doctors a couple of years ago, and he said, "Jorma, you owe your parents a debt of gratitude for your genetics."
Oh.
And there's a lot of that. I mean, over the course of my lifetime, like most of us, I've done lots of stupid stuff and this and that, but here we are.
Yeah.
And
it's wild.
and you can't take it for granted.
No.
And the good news about all this, also, I think, and I'm going to toot my horn just a little bit here because why not?
Yes.
That's what we're here to
That's
do.
what we're here.
It's the horns for.
But yeah, I think that as time goes, I mean, I've been in this game for a long time, and I had something going when I was really young, but I think I'm better now than I was when I was younger. Maybe not as fast or as dexterous. My dexterity might not be quite the same, but I think I tell the story better than I did when I was younger.
Do you feel
I'm
like?
just saying.
Do you feel like at this point in your life and your playing that the playing is coming from a different place?
Yeah, I do, and I think that's a good point. I was thinking, I probably wouldn't have come up with phrasing it that way, but as a younger guy, when I fell in love with the guitar, it wasn't. I've never really been a technique fanatic because I've always kind of like just danced my own dance. But I've learned a lot of stuff along the way, et cetera, et cetera. But I think that as a player today, my playing is much more relaxed than it was when I was considerably younger, and I think that allows me. Again, I consider myself a storyteller, whether the song has lyrics or not. But I think that allows me to tell the story in a way that my audience hopefully can appreciate more than if I was like a chop set or something like that.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and also I would imagine that, you say more relaxed. As we get older, we come to know who we are a bit more. I would imagine, at least I think I have a little bit.
Agreed. And if we're lucky, I think that's the case.
True.
But yeah, I think that as I've gotten older, I've become much less self-conscious. I mean, when I was probably in my 20s, I doubt if we could have had a conversation like this. I would have been very uncomfortable.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
And now I feel like I'm ready to take a nap. No, I'm just kidding.
Me too, man. It's okay. You're in good company.
Jorma, you said something a moment ago about the game of the music game. Did you know it was a game when you first started?
I don't think so. I think my entree into the thing, I started messing with a guitar when I was in my mid to late teens, and I think I was sort of inherently a shy kid back then, but I wasn't shy when I picked up the guitar. Even when I hardly knew anything, and I probably should have been shy. I just felt comfortable with the darn thing in my hands, and I think that stayed with me, all these years. And so, as things developed, I think it just allowed me to become less self-conscious. I mean, in the beginning, when I always liked playing for people, but I would have never said anything on stage. And now, if I'm working with Jack especially, and we start talking, you can't shut us up.
I'll be honest though, that's sometimes the coolest part of seeing a show like you guys do is that stuff. I think as
the banter.
As fans of yours, we want to hear about the inside jokes and the stuff that's gone on with you. That's part of the trip.
Yeah.
And
that's the rewarding tidbits that you don't hear all the time in the public eye. And
I think, Jack and I guess it's true of anybody that gets a trusted fan base, but our fans allow us to be the goofballs that we are. I mean, when we're playing music, that's one thing, but other than that, except for the fact that we know big or worse, we're pretty much the same kids that were in Woodrow Wilson High School together a lifetime ago.
I understand that 1,000%. Our son just got married a week or so ago, and before the wedding, I was driving him to the ceremony, and I was telling him, I'm like, you're growing up and you feel that, your parents know everything. But I have news for you. We're just people. We don't know shit. We don't know what's going on, man. And we're doing the best we can. And I'm in an older body, but the mind that's in my head is still that 18-year-old kid that's excited about music and all the stuff. I mean,
they don't know shit.
Obviously you feel the same way.
Yeah. I mean, and we're lucky that we feel that way too, because it's not always like that. I mean, there's always some mystery around the corner. The older I get, the less I realize I know.
Totally.
But that's why you got to take advantage of the time so you can learn some of those things if you're lucky.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of wisdom that comes with what you've done for so long. Like, I know what you're saying, but you've done so many things. You've traveled the world. You have a partner, musical partner for so long.
Yeah.
What, I mean, how does that affect from back then to what you do now? Like having that same kind of partner and that collected wisdom over the years.
So I'm really lucky because over the years I've wound up with many musical partners, not on the same level as Jack, and we'll get to that in a sec. But like I said, because Jack and I grew up in the same neighborhood. We know exactly where each other comes from in the beginning.
Right.
And you can't buy that. That doesn't mean that's the only thing that counts in a friendship, because that's not the case. But it does give, I think, a substance to a relationship that unless you have that, you just can't get it. I mean, like, for example, when we talk about, Jack was in a slightly different neighborhood for me, but talking about growing up in Chevy Chase, D.C. in the 50s, if you weren't there, it's going to you wouldn't realize what a cultural nightmare it was. but we were strong. We survived. No, it just was a different time,
Yeah.
But and this is important. I think the music always got us through, and it still does.
Do you remember what the like first music was that really turned you on?
I think that my parents were sort of intellectual snobs, so there was always like some kind of classical. I guess the hippest thing, from my point of view, that they listened to was gospel, because I liked Mahalia Jackson and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I remember my dad was working for an organization called the Asia Foundation. We were stationed in Pakistan in the early 50s. And while I was there, we had a record player that actually played 78 records, and somebody brought over Bill Haley's Rock Around the Clock, and which of course is an early guitar rock record. And there's just something about it that I thought was just incredibly cool. I knew nothing about the guitar. I'd never even seen one, but I think that opened the door for me.
So from that to the fingerstyle picking that you do, how did that come about? How did you?
So again, an incredibly fortuitous circumstance. So I'd played for a while. Jack and I had a little band in high school together, and basically I just played with a flat pick, and I had a pretty good sense of rhythm, but I was not basically I just wanted to sing songs, and then I needed to play some kind of rhythm guitar in order to do that. So that was my thrust. But in the spring quarter of 1960 at Antioch College, I was living in an off-campus house, and there was this guy, sad to say he passed away a long time ago, named Ian Buchanan, who was a fingerstyle guitar player from New York City that was a friend of Reverend Gary Davis's. So I'd never even heard any of this kind of music. I'd never really heard fingerstyle blues. I'd heard Little Walter and Wolf and all those Chicago guys and stuff like that, Sonny Boy Williamson. But so all of a sudden I'm in a house with a guy that not only could play that kind of music, but knew some of the guys that did it. And it was like what the Judy Garland movie where everything's in black and white.
Oh, Wizard of Oz.
The Ellsberg Road, and all of a sudden everything's in Technicolor. It was like one of those moments, And yeah. And I was living with this guy, and so for some silly reason, he took me under his wing and laboriously opened the door for me, And I've talked about this in interviews before. I can't imagine why he did that. The music that I was playing, I'm sure, unless it was self-defense, maybe he was so repulsed by the sounds I was making that he had,
You got to make this sound better, man. I'm going to take this kid under my wing.
Yeah, you can't play that shit. Here's the real stuff. Yeah.
Is that something you've ever done? Have you ever taken someone under your wing just for the heck of it, because you were inspired to, or you felt like it?
Yeah, I have. But usually it's been with somebody that already knew about the music. For example, I teach a lot, and we do classes and this and that, about that stuff. But I love showing stuff to people. So my wife's got this young guy named Ian that's been working for her for a number of years. He's 22 now, but I first met him when he's in his mid-teens. And just hanging around, he showed some interest in it. So the last 4 or 5 years, I've taken it upon myself to get together with him a couple times a week when I'm in town. And he's actually quite a good fingerstyle player now. Just because it was fun and it was exciting to see him get set on fire by all the stuff the same way I was when he was his age, and it was cool.
Yeah.
Actually, he got into it younger than I did, so that's even cooler.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like you're playing fingerstyle guitar, and you moved to San Francisco. When you joined Airplane, did you feel like your style would fit what the band was doing?
So we need to put this in the context of the time. I wound up at the University of Santa Clara in probably, I guess, the fall of '62, and I had just come from an Antioch, because I was in Antioch College before, this co-op job in New York, where I was hanging out with Ian and all these guys, and I had a repertoire of maybe 8 or 9 songs that I learned from Ian, and I was just ate up with all that kind of stuff. Okay. And so when I got to California, that's pretty much all that I pursued. And fortunately, there's a lot of really great guitar players that I was able to hang out with. Steve Mann, may he rest in peace, is one if you get a chance to it's a difficult record to find, but I mean, you probably get it on YouTube, called Straight Life.
Okay.
That's a Steve Mann record. There's also Steve Mann live at the Ash Grove. Anyway, he was a guy that was light years ahead of his time, that took me under his wing, and I just started learning this stuff about playing the guitar. And I was totally uninterested in picking up an electric guitar, because I was just so into the acoustic guitar. But again, thanks to me meeting Paul Cantor the first year I was at Santa Clara, he just dropped out when he was living in San Francisco, and they were looking for a guitar player, and he threw my hat in the ring, and I went up, and it looked like fun. So when I first started playing with the Airplane, I wasn't doing any of that stuff that we all take for granted, bending strings, and I had no idea how to do that. Mike Bloomfield showed me how to do that a year or so later on, but it just seemed like playing rock and roll could really be a lot of fun. And I'm not being disingenuous when I say that.
I get it, man.
It could be fun. And so I cashed in the Israeli bonds my grandmother had given me for years, and I bought it. Cantor insisted that I get a Rickenbacker 12-string because McGuinn had one. Now, looking back on it today, if there's one guitar that's not me, it's that. But that's the electric guitar that I first started playing with a band. And I also had a 30-something Gibson L5 that had a pickup on it. I mean, this is so Flintstones in those days.
I was going to say, that's a giant piece of machinery.
It was, yeah. I mean, this is like, this is the dark ages for San Francisco rock and roll. But one thing led to another, and it was really a lot of fun, and I was really lucky to play with a lot of really artistic people, none of which were like frozen in a genre. Like, we were not a blues band,
no.
Even though I was kind of a blues guitar player, but not a guy like Bloomfield. But and just a quick note about the Airplane is, you'd think that a band that has like 3 songwriters and 3 singers would monopolize the stage with their material, but Paul, Marty, and Grace, whenever one of us who weren't like the main front people came up with a song, we always got to do it. Rare in any band.
Wow.
Oh yeah. And you talk about being around people that were great players and that were creative and not stuck in a genre. Also, Jorma, the time that you grew up, that was all happening, was culturally and spiritually and otherwise probably one of the most transformative and important times in American history. You know what I mean? And when I was born in 71, so when I look back at that time, there's an air of nostalgia to that doesn't fit anywhere else, especially like after being a teenager and being turned on to the Grateful Dead and the Airplane and Hendrix and all the good shit. But I wonder how you see that time, because for me, I wasn't there, and I see it with this air of nostalgia and like lore and all this stuff, but you lived through all of that and you were part of it. So your perspective is wholly different than mine. I'm curious.
I think it's worthy of some nostalgia. In a normal world, I'd be a great grandfather, but in this one, I've got a 29-year-old son and a 19-year-old daughter. So my daughter's a musician, and she's very talented and all this kind of stuff, and knows way more about music than I did when I was her age and stuff like that. But one of the things I said is, listen, it's all good, and I'm not saying that my time was the only time, because it's not. But as you've alluded to, there was a sort of a generative sense of excitement, especially in San Francisco, that anything was possible, and it didn't take virtuosity in order to achieve this. And in a way, there's 2 ways to look at that. One is like, if you're a chops head, it's like you need to learn more stuff and you need to know more about harmony and whatnot. But in that moment, none of that really mattered, because the love of the music sort of transcended all that stuff. And also, in a band like the Airplane, and we weren't the only band like that. I mean, think about Big Brother with Janis and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, Janis dominated that band when she got into it. But before she was in that band, And even when she was in the band, they're extremely eclectic with the way they appreciate stuff. I mean, in the Hall of the Mountain King, come on, that's not your average,
Right.
rock and roll song. But yeah, in that moment, anything was not only possible, but the audiences that would come out to hear us play allowed it to happen. And if you think about the beginning of the so-called San Francisco scene, like when Airplane was playing The Matrix and when the Family Dog was just starting up and stuff like that. I mean, think about the outrageous clothes and stuff like that. Like we were driving through, went to that Woodstock Museum in Liberty or wherever it is. My daughter was going to summer camp, and she's looking at all these pictures, and she goes, "Do you guys really go out dressed like that?" And I went, "We dress like that all the time, because that's just how it was back then." But anyway, there were no real sort of definitive categories that the bands had to fit into, and the San Francisco bands at that time were all extremely different. And I think that from my own point of view, that my lack of sort of definitive knowledge as a musician helped me in a lot of ways because my leads were not like a typical blues player. And the only credit I can take for that is because I didn't know anything about that.
Right. You're more malleable that way. You don't have any preconceptions of how it should be done. Well, and also, right. I mean, I think psychedelics played a huge role in that air of anything is possible, and also fans, people coming to shows, being willing to accept whatever happened.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. Yeah, what he said.
Yeah. Well, I was curious too, because you were talking about Janice. It's one of my favorite pictures, the album of you and Janice when you were doing like coffee shops. So you had the opportunity too to get to know, you like knew some of these people before they became the rock stars that like we know.
Sure.
And I'm just curious about that, because I mean, you both look, it's like so wholesome looking, and you look like you just came in off the prairie to sit down and sing a song.
Yeah, she hadn't freaked out yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to look wholesome when you're that young.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I remember we had I'm trying to think. I think it was probably still called the Folk Theater. It became the Offstage later on. And I was down there for a hoot, and Janice was one of the people that showed up. And I don't think I'd been in California for more than a couple of weeks at the time. And, we're just bullshitting backstage. And I realized that I was sort of familiar with what she was doing because of the stuff I'd been playing in New York before I came there. And of course, the first time I heard her sing, I realized just in the presence of greatness. There's no question about that. And we played, and you've probably seen pictures of us from that gig and stuff like that. And so Janice knew a lot of people, and she lived in San Francisco. I was still going to college, and I lived in San Jose. So whenever Janice would get a gig down the peninsula, and she couldn't, because nobody really had cars back in those days, she couldn't bring one of the people she played with in San Francisco, then I would get the call. And so as a result, I got a chance to do a lot of stuff with her. And I don't know if you saw that special that I forget who did it, some video thing called Little Girl Blue about Janice. It was really a great documentary, but I get no mention in it whatsoever because we never did drugs or had sex, really. That wasn't going on at that moment. It was just about the music. It wasn't as good a tell from in a documentary point of view.
Okay.
But yeah, to get a chance to play with her in that era, I knew at the time this is the shit. This is really the shit.
Yeah, it's amazing to think about all the people on the planet, and then all the people on the planet that are musicians, and then all the people that are musicians in the city that you're in, and fate and whatever sees fit to put you in the place that you were at that time, and all that to come together. It's I hate to use the word, but it's epic. That's an epic thing that happened for an entire group of people that created.
That's a proper use of the word.
Created an entire genre of music, basically. I kind of see, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but the San Francisco sound from the 60s is its own thing.
Agreed. Yeah, for whatever reason. So in a way, it's a real zeitgeist kind of thing, you know, and it does. It almost exists in its own bubble. And I remember that, you know, when the gigs were starting to happen and bands were coming from other parts of the United States, like from LA, Chicago, New York, it became apparent, I think, that they were much more quote unquote professional than the San Francisco bands were. You know, and everybody brought their own thing to the table, but as a result of that unprofessionalism, we were able on some level to create something that would probably not have happened in another city. I mean, San Francisco was a weird-ass place back in those days. I mean, if you think about, like in 1965, you couldn't have a dance without a dance hall permit. You know, most bars didn't have a dancing permit, so you couldn't dance. And if you did dance, and a beat cop came in, they'd shut the place down. I mean, it's ridiculous to think about today, but that's just how it was.
And also you had like, you know, in 65, you had Keezy doing his thing and all that starting up. So that changes the scene quite a bit. And, you know, like you're saying, unprofessional, I'm using air quotes. Like you go back and you listen to the primal stuff of like the Airplane in 66 or primal Grateful Dead stuff when they were playing in Pizza Parlor and all that. There's a beauty to that stuff that it's not polished, and you can hear the love of the thing. You can feel it coming through that you know, you're not getting that with the music that's coming out on Apple Music now that's all polished and been Pro Tools,
no mistakes.
Now, if you think about the Pizza Parlor gigs, and that's funny too, because we all did pizza parlors at one time or another. But I guess I'm just theorizing here. But I guess most of the time, like a sort of a generic gig, like a pizza parlor, would hire a cover band that would do whatever they're going to do, Grateful Dead, Bob Seger. I mean, you know, whatever they're doing. Right. But in those days, if you got that gig, they didn't care what you did as long as you made noise. Really.
Didn't run anybody out.
No. So Hot Tuna was started so that you guys could play longer, is what I read. Is that true?
I think it wound up that way, but I think the way it started is, you know, Jack and I had known each other since before Rocks and Water. And one of the things that we did in those days is that wherever we were on the road with the Airplane, I never went anywhere without my acoustic guitar. And fortunately, because they didn't have like road cases for instruments in those days, and we flew a lot of places, I'm so lucky the guitar didn't get busted. Because I just had a regular case and I'd check it on with the luggage and then run down to catch it before it came down the carousel. Yeah, they didn't hand carry stuff back in those days. But
That's
anyway,
scary.
And so I had my acoustic guitar, and we'd get back from the gig, and in those days, you know, we'd be sharing a hotel room, and Jack and I we'd be the guys that share our room. And we'd sit around, and you know, the gigs didn't last as long back in those days, and we'd have nothing to do. And Jack had this little amp in a Halliburton metal case that Owsley made for him.
Oh, wow.
That Owsley.
Yeah. Got it.
And he made other things. He made other stuff besides acid. He did all this. So he made this cool little amp that Jack had a 4-inch speaker that Jack could play his bass through. And we just sit in the hotel room and we'd play until somebody complained and we had to quit playing. So we sort of developed what became the Hot Tuna thing just because it was fun to do.
That's the best.
That's the best reason to do something.
Yeah. You know,
did you, in your life, did you ever project like, I want to be this, I want to do that, I want to go, you know what I mean? Like, did you have like a path, or was it more just whatever occurred? Because, you know, you have such a long career.
Yeah.
Was it always up in the air, or was it directed by you at some point?
No, I think when I was younger, it was always up in the air. I was one of the most disorganized people ever. I mean, I don't even think I knew the word career. In fact, I remember, I don't know what the heck it was. I remember when I decided that I was going to stop playing with the Airplane and just do the thing with Jack. And my dad, who was always, he was my dad was something of a downer. He had a good sense of humor, except when it came to his kids' careers. He was always a downer about being a professional musician. What are you going to do when the bubble bursts? And stuff like that. But I remember when I quit the airplane, my dad called me up and he goes, son, he says, have you really given some serious thought to this? Because you have a career and a good job. And I'm thinking, who is this man I'm talking to?
So wait a minute. Dad accepted what was going on? Like,
I think he was conflicted.
Okay.
On the one hand, you know, as a guy that had worked for the government since he was in the service in World War II, I think that he was worried that his kids were going to go awry, and you know that the world was going to come to an end, all that kind of stuff. And on the other hand, I think he lived vicariously through stuff that me and my younger brother Peter did also as musicians. I think he wound up loving it in the beginning, and he liked it in spite of himself.
I think that's cool, man.
That
I mean,
is cool.
That's
a great parent, you know, like, okay, he didn't do what I wanted or what I thought you should, but what you're doing is pretty awesome. And maybe not to say it, but like energetically feel that.
Yeah. Give you your props.
It took a while to get there, but he wound up there.
You know, you're 50 years playing at Altamont and Woodstock, and you've done probably 10,000 interviews and been asked the same questions over and over again.
Right.
And I don't want to do that to you, but I really am curious about, like, when you look back over playing those big festivals, is there any moments for you that stick out?
Wow, I think playing Monterey is going to be one of the highlights for me, because by the time we got to doing Woodstock and the Atlantic City Pop Festival, Miami, all those pop festivals, that was the gig then. I mean, sure, I remember taking my daughter to summer camp, and again driving through the Woodstock area and looking at the museum, just talking about it. I said, and looking at the pictures, I will never, as long as I live, play in front of an audience like that. Right. And it was pretty exciting to think about it. But I think at the time, we almost took it for granted, because we were like, you know, it's easy to get full of yourself when you're young and you're doing all that stuff's going on.
Yeah.
But Monterey was another story. It was like the first festival that sort of dignified rock and roll music, the Monterey Pop Festival. Mm-hmm. And because it was relatively small by festivals, I doubt there was 10,000 people there. Oh. You know, to be able to walk around with Otis Redding or Ravi Shankar or any of the acts who were on that, or Bloomfield and all that stuff. I mean, it was just so casual by today's standards. I mean, that sort of interaction with the artists in the crowd would just never happen today.
I know what you're talking about. We've been to some small festivals now here in the Pacific Northwest where that is the thing, and it was kind of mind blowing to us. Like, wow, the artists are down hanging out with the crowd, and like
that's the fun to be watching them on stage, and next thing you know, another band's on, and that band's standing right next to you and hanging out.
Right.
And
did you ever get used to celebrity? Is that something that came easy or not easy? Like,
I don't. First of all, you got to remember that, you know, we were in our 20s back in those days, and it was all such a new thing. I mean, we'd all been pretty much playing music professionally for a while. It just seemed to be, on some level, the natural way of things, which sounds really silly because a lot of people play great music and that will never happen to them.
Exactly.
Because you got to get lucky too. It's not just about talent and hard work. You have to get the breaks also.
Right.
But I just kind of think, I don't want to say take it for granted, because that sort of trivializes the experience, but that's just the world we lived in. And I think we accepted that it came with a certain amount of stuff. And one of the stuff things that was really good is to be fortunate enough to play in front of really big audiences, you know. But we certainly weren't the only band back then that was doing that. It was an exciting time for music.
Right. And you know, we're a little bit ago we were talking about, you know, the time of the 60s and the San Francisco sound.
Yeah.
Did you realize that it was coming apart when it started coming apart?
I think Yeah, I don't think we intellectualized it in that way. But I think looking back at it, I think we felt that we were aging out, and I think that's really what happened.
Wow.
I'm not sure I'd use coming apart, absolutely, but I think there was coming apart because, when all that stuff started, we were in our early to mid 20s, and when all that stuff ended, we were in our early 30s. If you look at an insurance actuarial table, I believe you're middle aged when you're 35,
Right.
or some depressing thing like that.
Oh my gosh.
So I think that we just started to age out of it, and of course younger artists are coming up also. I remember Spencer, I guess it was right before Spencer left the band, talking about stuff. I think Led Zeppelin was just coming to the United States, and I remember him saying, "It's their time now." And I'm not sure I got what he was saying then, but I sure do now.
Well, I think part of it too is that when it was new and fresh, it wasn't commercial. You guys weren't selling anything. You were playing music. That was it.
Right.
And once it caught on, the vultures come and realize that they can make money off of it and start packaging it in a certain way, and then it changes.
Well, the vultures are always present. I wish I could remember that Hunter Thompson quote about the music business. You can look, but it's fabulous.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember it
think of
either.
it either.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I think the vultures are always present, but we were very lucky in that because the Airplane gained pretty substantial popularity early on. The record company would have liked us to do a lot of packaging and stuff like that, but we were in a position not to have to do it. So, and the album Takes Off was produced by this guy, Tommy Oliver, that was picked by the record company. And it's Takes Off is a folk rock album. And by the time we got through Surrealistic Pillow, which I think is like a 60s rock album on some levels, and we got to do After Bathing at Baxter's, where we actually produced the record ourselves with Al Schmidt. We could do whatever we wanted to do. I mean, we could have never done that 2 years before that. I don't think there's a song on that record that's like 6 minutes long.
That's the best stuff, man.
Yes. Yeah, we know that. Yeah.
So I want to say, in keeping with the music industry, what do you think now?
Oh my God.
Because, I mean, it can't look the same from your perspective. Or can it?
I'm not sure the music business, the music industry itself has changed that much. We were just fortunate that because we gained popularity that we were able to pretty much do what we wanted to do. I think the music industry likes to control the narrative when they can. I think it's better from their marketing point of view.
Uh-huh.
I think it stifles artistry on some level, but we just didn't play well with others, And fortunately, as I said, we got popular, so we were able basically to say "fuck you" and pretty much do what it is that we wanted to do.
Right.
That's so rare in this business, as you know.
Yeah. Because you can't really go anywhere if you don't have that kind of attitude and also the musical talent to back it up.
Right. The other thing too is that I think that like talking to my daughter and her friends that play music, or some of my younger friends and stuff like that. There's all kinds of good music coming in. I'm not saying the only good music was in the 60s. That's not the case whatsoever. There's all kinds of good music coming up all the time, but there's a lot of new stuff happening, like the electric guitar sounds, the feeding back. I mean, now we've got pedal boards that will fly you to the moon and back and stuff like that. And I'm not critical of that. Don't get me wrong, but all that stuff was so magical when it was new. We're just whatever. I mean, it was new.
Yeah.
It was new. So I wonder what the next really new thing will be. There'll be something new. But who knows what it's going to be.
So we were talking about, how the San Francisco sound kind of created a genre. I think out of that came what we know today as like the jam band world. You know?
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Like, I'm curious what your perspective is on it.
So I think it's first of all, it's fun to jam. and people that play, you know, Jack and I and my buddies back then, we learned how to play by having a format available to us, which allowed us to jam in free form ways, some of which would bear listening better than others, you know. I mean, like on Spare Chains on Baxter's, that's I think it's like 14 minutes on the record. That's not edited. That's just a section snipped out of probably like a 40-minute jam. I'm sure that if you listen to the whole 40-minute jam, they weren't all golden moments, you know. So you know, to be able to have a format that allows you to do that is exciting. But the other thing is, again, a lot of those quote unquote sounds were new back then.
Right.
Yeah, if you think about the classic great guitar players before the so-called psychedelic players, was really, I don't want to use the word stage, but it was more traditional musical form. And now the sky's the limit.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a good thing too. The other thing too is like all this music we're talking about is very guitar centric, and it still is. And I think about it, as a guitar player, you wonder what the next centric instrument would be.
Oh yeah, you know,
it'll be something.
Well,
I'm sure. But
I mean, the guitar has held center stage. Pardon the pun, for a long time.
Agreed.
Well,
Yeah.
the
and I think
computer.
for a lot of reasons. First of all, well, of course, I think it's a cool instrument. I'm a guitar player, but I mean, if you're playing an acoustic guitar, it's portable.
Yeah.
You can carry it around. And if you're playing electric guitar, depending on the gear you're playing with, it's still portable.
Right.
And they just look so darn cool too.
They do look
Yeah.
cool.
It does look cool. I know that we were just talking about the new thing, DJs and computer-driven music. That is a huge thing that wasn't a really big part of the 60s.
Right.
Not,
Looping and all.
yeah, and so many people, like, for example, it's holiday time. I'm at my job and they're playing holiday music, and it's not from all the greats. This is computer AI generated music. So they're not having to pay artists. And everyone notices because it sounds off.
Like AI music.
Exactly. But
Yeah,
it's
agreed.
like,
Done out the life.
it's
no
coming
soul.
out in like it's normal. So for our ears, do you know what I mean? It's like kind of like normalizing that sound.
Totally.
And it's so jarring because when you hear it at first and you're not used to it, it sounds, you kind of want to pick up on the groove, but then the music starts or
It sounds
the
like
lyrics.
a Christmas card.
It's
I was just at her
terrible.
work shopping today, not long ago, and now you say it. It's like when you open one of those Christmas cards that plays the bling, 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 like it's soulless and lifeless.
And well, some of it, not that part at all, but like we were talking about the DJs and stuff like that. Some of that is wonderful and it's amazing. But that is a whole different thing than what we're talking about, where you're actually putting your soul into it, you know?
Yeah. Well, obviously, my daughter's got one. My daughter is a great singer, and she can play a lot of instruments also, but she's got one of those DJ things too.
Yeah.
And it's entertaining on some sort of level. But yeah, I mean, to actually be able to play an instrument, you know, whatever that instrument might be, that's a magical gift. And it's not something that, I guess, I mean, I've been playing guitar for so long, it's hard to put myself back in those first stages. But I do remember, like, when I was a kid, I was like, 8 or 9 or 10, whatever, taking piano lessons, learning the stuff that you had to learn. And it wasn't my music, obviously, because I didn't really know what my music was yet. But I liked the feeling of making music, you know. And, you know, the guitar, of course, opened a lot of doors for me because that was magical for me. But whatever kind of music you play, whatever instrument is your muse, whatever instrument calls to you, that's magical stuff, you know. And if you're fortunate enough to have the talent, and you don't need to be a virtuoso in order to enjoy that kind of stuff. I mean, you could play, you know, like one of the first songs I learned of the guitar was "This Old Man, He Played One," you know.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time, because I was taking lessons, I didn't know what my music was going to be back then, and I knew it wasn't that. But I knew that was a step that I had to endure in order to get where I was going.
Yeah, nobody has ever played Greensleeves and been like, that's it.
Well,
That's
we
what somebody-
Yeah, green
maybe.
sleeves.
I
Yeah,
wonder,
that's one of the first minor key ones you learn. Yeah.
I was going to add one of my this is going back to talking about Owsley and stuff.
Sure.
One of my favorite recordings of you and Jack is the Bear Sonic Journals that they've started putting out.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, from '68. I'm just curious, like do you remember when that was recorded? Like Bear there setting up the equipment or anything, or is this?
I'd have to look at that. I don't have it in front of me right now, but I think that was probably at one of the Marin County gigs and stuff like that. I mean, Owsley, God bless him. May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
He was a brilliant guy in a lot of ways, but he was a terrible driver, and that's what happened to him at the end. But he had some car accident anyway. But the fact that he recorded all this stuff, where we're jamming, and it's still fresh enough so that we're not starting to repeat ourselves a lot yet. Because a lot of the Sonic Journey, there's some songs there, but there's just a lot of freeform jamming that actually bears that's not edited. That actually bears listening without, it's not the same shit over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then follow-up question to that, are there any favorite you have such a catalog of music with so many bands and solo. Do you have any favorites that stand out to you that we should listen to or know of?
Wow. That's a good question. I'm not sure I really have a ready answer for it.
And we can come back to that.
Well, I think that I think you need to, if you're interested in stuff that me and Jack did, listen to that live recording from New Orleans House, that first Hot Tuna record, because that's just we played for, I forget, it was 4 or 5 nights, and that's unedited stuff. That's all just the way we were playing together at that time. I mean, like, you're interested in the musical history of where me and Jack and me came from. I think that's worth listening to, certainly.
Yeah.
Because I think live music is always best. I just love the magical stuff that happens when it's live. I think that also that Blue Country Heart recording that I did in the early 2000s with Sam Bush and Jerry Douglas and Bela Fleck and Byron and all those great bluegrass players, live, first and second takes, unedited.
Wow.
That's kind of stuff.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Little nuggets like
good
that.
Stuff right there.
So Jorma, like, aside from your music and your playing, what do you enjoy now to listen to?
Well, what do I enjoy listening to? I'm a huge Mary Chapin Carpenter fan.
Oh.
And somebody just gave, one of my friends at a party we were at the other day, just gave me a collection of her stuff, of her live stuff that I'd never heard before. I thought I had everything she'd ever recorded. But anyway, yeah, I'm a huge fan of hers.
Well,
and I never get tired of listening to, when I'm traveling on an airplane or stuff like that, she's pretty much my go-to.
Really? Wow. What is it about what she does that makes you feel that way?
Well, I think she's such a great writer. I love the stories that she tells. I guess it's just the sound of her voice, and she's also a great guitar player too. And she always, her records are just great productions, and
right on.
Yeah, it's my happy listening place.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I think we all have our thing.
Yeah.
For sure. And apart from being out and playing, you have a lot of other stuff that's going on. You do the Fur Piece Productions. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. So we had Vanessa and I had the Fur Piece Ranch for almost a quarter of a century. Hey, Vanessa, your dog is.
I'm sorry. Go.
Hey, bring me the dog. We got to introduce him to the dog.
Yes, please. I was going to say, we love dogs. This happens often, and we love it.
We do.
Here is. Bring him over here.
Oh no!
Get on camera.
Little dog butt. Oh my god.
Hello. Oh my god. What's the name?
His name is Chunk.
Chunk.
His name is Percy. Percy, aka Chunky.
Love it.
Was that your daughter?
That is my daughter.
Okay,
yeah.
I saw her on a clip on YouTube with I think it was you and John on stage where she's singing "Ain't No Sunshine," voice of an angel. Oh my god.
So Fur Piece is a music education hub?
Right. So anyway, we started out with with the ranch. We had it for almost a quarter of a century, and we did classes there. We also wound up. The short. I'll try to keep this moderately short. Vanessa and I lucked into 126 acres in southeast Ohio in a very sparsely populated county down near the river for $32,000.
Whoa.
And so we got lucked. We fell into that around 91. They were giving land away back in those days. Wow. And we wound up building the Fur Peach Ranch. We wound up with a theater, an NPR radio show, a workshop, like 17 cabins, and doing this whole music camp thing. So we started doing, we started recording everything. We've documented everything over the years, and we realized we've got a basically a video studio built into the stuff. We might as well start doing some live stream stuff, which we did during the pandemic. We did a lot of live streaming stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of been a part of what we do. Like my buddy John Hurlbut, he's worked with me forever. He and I wound up making a couple records together thanks to the pandemic, and we have a podcast. Have you seen our podcast?
No. I did not know about that. Jorma?
Is this Roads and Roads?
Vanessa, this is Roads and Roads. Yeah,
okay.
check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we yak about all kinds of stuff.
It's fun or yak.
It's No Simple Road and Roads and Roads.
Yeah. Yeah. Coincidence?
I think not, Jorma. I think not.
But anyhow, so we wound up, and one thing led to another, and as the pandemic kind of put the end to the in-person teaching and whatnot, and we wound up selling the ranch, and we live a little bit outside of town here in Athens, Ohio, and we wound up, where are you guys physically? Where am I talking to you at?
Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon. Okay, well and my brother used to live up there. He's moved back to Mill Valley now. Anyway, cool. So we wound up. Real estate's really cheap down here. We wound up buying this house in Athens Township. Athens it's a university town.
Okay.
We're on this ridge overlooking the town, which means we don't have to pay city taxes and stuff like that. And then this other little piece of property down the road with 5 acres of land came up, so we bought that too, and that's where our mothership and our studio and all that kind of stuff
that's
is.
so cool, man. So
yeah, it is. I mean, if we lived anywhere else, we couldn't afford to do this, but it's an economically depressed area, and it's just easier to do stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and it sounds like you're gonna have plenty to keep yourself busy if you're not deciding to tour anymore or play out. Like you're gonna.
Well, I'm not giving up on touring, but I've got one more bus tour coming up.
Okay.
I'm probably not going to do that anymore. But I love playing for an audience. I'm not going to give up performing.
Good for you, man.
We're working 5 nights a week. That's once I get done with this next tour, I'm not going to do that anymore.
How far west are you going? Are you going to be in Oregon at all? Do you know?
Vanessa, are we going to be in Oregon? Am I/we going to be in Oregon?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
All
right, we'll look it up.
You'll be in the Bay Area again.
Yeah. I do the Aladdin all the time.
Okay.
You'll be in the Bay Area again toward the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Pretty much you're doing Midwest coming up in April, East Coast July. It is possible.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds
She's
good.
working me like a dog.
Yeah.
You said you like it. You said it yourself.
I don't think a day goes by that I don't play the guitar, but it's not the same as playing for an audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would
Okay.
imagine after
What are you getting from it? We know what we're getting.
I think I probably used this words earlier, hard to remember. I can't remember what I had for breakfast anymore, but I fell in love with it Chris Smither said it better. I fell in love with it when I was a kid, and I never fell out.
Aww.
Okay.
And that's the real, that's just the way I feel about it.
Yeah, that says it all right there.
The guitar has been my friend for a really long time, and I can't say that I practice every day, but I definitely play every day. And even when I'm off the road here, Vanessa's got this little boutique in town called River of Time, Nice little website, by the way.
Okay, River of Time.
Great for Christmas gifts.
Yes.
River of Time Boutique, Athens, Ohio. Anyway, and so we do, like my buddy Johnny and I, we do like a free show there once a week, and you know.
And you're making CBD? Are you making?
Don't go away.
Okay.
Don't go away.
No, we're not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
Hand me the CBD.
Oh my
I
God.
love it, man. This is the best. Hell yeah, no simple rules.
Okay.
This is the tattoo shop.
Yeah, got it. Well, all right.
You do more than just that. We have gummies and we have tinctures.
Oh, wow.
Yorma's Choice Muscle
Ooh.
Bomb.
Okay. that-
Okay.
All right.
Yes. CBD and
Oh, you
Tattoo
got tattoo
shine.
shine. Okay.
Okay.
yes, which is also CBD. And we have gummies. We have CBD gummies. We got all kinds of stuff.
So is it,
Look at
what is
you.
what is the website for people to go to for
River
that?
of Time.
What's the website, Ness?
So that you can get online at the Fur Piece Ranch Company store.
Fur Piece Ranch Company store.
Okay. We want to make sure everybody knows.
What
So,
ranch?
furpieceranch.com. You can
Oh,
get
Fur
it
Piece
for
Ranch
like-
Company store. Got it. We will put a link for everybody listening in the
Yeah.
show notes
Yeah, for
for
all
you
of
to
you.
get
There we go.
some balm.
We got all kinds of stuff you just can't live without.
I love it, man. Okay, before we go, Jorma,
Yeah,
I have
sure.
to ask you the most important question of the
Lay it
entire
on me.
conversation.
Uh-oh.
You travel with an AeroPress and a manual grinder?
I do.
For real.
And
Yes.
For real.
I love you, man.
Yeah. Hey, Ness,
He is a
That's
coffee fanatic, this one.
hand me the AeroPress, please.
And what's your go-to, like, your favorite roast? Like, if dark to light?
So, yeah, I think I tend to like lighter roasts,
Okay.
but I also roast my own coffee.
What?
Oh,
So hang on a sec. Here we
We're
go.
getting the full tour, man. I love it.
Thank you for sharing
My
this. This is
favorite.
exciting.
Here's the AeroPress.
Yep, I got
Yeah.
one.
That's-
When we
Well,
go
you know
to
the
festivals,
deal.
it goes with me, man.
Here's the hand grinder.
Manual
What?
grinder. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, we have an electric grinder too, of course. But anyway, so I have my own coffee roaster. I like to roast my own coffee, but it makes a lot of smoke, so it has to be warm. I have to be able to do it outside.
Yeah, you can't do that in the house and you get chaff all over the
That's
place.
very
no, it sets
fancy.
off the smoke alarm and all kinds of stuff like that.
Gotcha, man.
Oh.
Your
So I guess my favorite roast is a medium dark.
Okay.
You know, but it sets a great time for stuff like that. I mean, you can just get all these different coffees from all over the world.
It's
yeah.
my favorite. I couldn't.
He has so many coffee contraptions that Mel gets on. He'll bring something home or another mug, and she's like, "Really?
Really?
I do get
Oh, yeah,
annoyed,
but don't bring any more mugs home.
Except for the one from Fur Piece.
Yorma, what a treat. Thank
you so much for doing
the
this.
day
Yes.
before your birthday, hanging out with us, sharing your.
Well,
Thank you.
it was a great hang.
Yeah. What do you want for your birthday,
It's a-
Yorma?
What do I want for my birthday? My 2 front teeth? No, that's something
That's
else.
Christmas.
Gosh, you know something? I've got everything I could
Oh,
possibly.
that's the
That's-
best answer ever, man.
Yeah.
Well, and that's how I was going to circle back to the very beginning and just say congratulations on your health and everything. Like you
Oh, thank you.
said, that is one of the most important things. We take it for granted until we start getting older and life kicks you
Amen,
in the
brother.
ass sometimes and tells you to straighten
Right.
up.
I was just thinking, I'm probably not going to do it tomorrow, but Wednesday, I'll be down at the gym.
Oh, there you go,
Right
man.
on.
Right on,
Right
brother.
on.
Thank you so much for doing this with us. Yorma.
So listen, next time I'm out your way, you know how to get a hold of me. Come on by and say hello.
Let's have some coffee,
Absolutely.
man. I'll bring you
Absolutely.
some beans.
Right on, Yorma.
Now you're talking.
Right on,
Yeah,
brother.
because I'll have my hand grinder with me.
Okay.
You're ready to go. Yes.
Right on.
Merry
Love
Christmas,
to
brother.
share a cup of coffee together.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your
Get back
family.
at you guys. Thank you
Right
so
on.
much.
Take it easy, brother.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Wow,
What
man.
a sweet angel.
What- I don't know if you guys saw. I saw a mix of like your dad and my dad
Yes.
in that fate.
Yes,
he's got
I
a
did.
bigger nose than my dad, but he's got features of like your dad and my dad.
Yes, he
mashed
does.
together.
That's-
Like,
So
Thank you for saying that. Yes.
He's Jewish.
yeah, Russian
He's a Russian
Jew is part of his
Dang.
heritage. I saw
Okay.
that earlier.
Yeah.
What a treat! What man, 85 years old tomorrow.
He's sharper than some
And
of the 25-year-olds that we know.
yeah, that's why I had to say that. Congratulations on your health. Like
And you made it through the 60s too, man. Like,
and
that's
he's
no
ready to
small
keep on.
feat.
Wait a
True
minute.
love.
And a 19-year-old?
man.
Yeah, and she's got the
My
voice of
man.
an angel.
Oh
There's a
my
clip on
gosh.
YouTube of her singing with him and John, one of his latest tours, and she's singing "Ain't No Sunshine" and like killing it. It was like, holy shit!
Okay.
Wow.
Well-
what a good couple of days for
Yeah, no simple
Music.
roads on Fuego.
Yeah, welcome back after we took our little
Yeah.
hiatus for family stuff in
Wow,
December, and
I'm gonna have to let this one sink in for a little bit. Like, you see and hear their music. I've been hearing his music for 30 whatever years in my life, listening to that stuff, and like,
for your whole life.
well,
When
Yeah, I
it
wasn't
came,
really
when it
into
came
it. Yeah,
into
when it
that's
came
right.
into my
You're
life.
right. Same here. We weren't listening to
and like
that at 3.
when you finally meet the person, it's a trip.
Yeah,
It's a trip to see somebody that's had the career that he's had, the experiences that he's had, all of it, and just like sharp together, funny.
and,
ready to keep
Ready
on
to go.
playing.
and also completely normal, down to earth, level headed.
Yeah,
It's the truth. Like
Yeah.
he has the same AeroPress that you do.
Yeah.
He has.
Well, and
do
it's
you know what I
Totally.
mean by
back
that?
to like we always say,
Like,
they're,
he
they're-
clearly is
they're
special.
just people like us.
Yes.
Like we say a lot. That's a good example.
in contrast to talking to Tom Constantin.
Oh.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like this cat, nothing, not disparaging
these are just
TK.
no.
one
There's
bit.
no disparagement. It's just completely different.
Like talking to Tom, he's out there. That cat went through the 60s. You know for sure he did.
yeah.
With Jorma,
You couldn't tell.
Just be on a hang with that guy, like
He really just reminded me of your dad the whole time.
Me too.
I looked at it and I wasn't gonna say it to him because he doesn't know your dad or whatever. But like it was very comforting to have him talking about his history because it felt like
my dad
grandpa
telling us
talking
about our st-
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And the storytelling. That's what
Exactly.
The
Your dad was a storyteller.
Like that, I know we always want to be gracious of the time and everything, but that we
You want to
coulda-
keep going.
We probably could have kept going
Got a
until
couple
he
more
was ready to call
stories,
it
yeah.
quits.
Yeah,
He was not ready to.
I'm not doing
No.
that. To him.
No,
No.
we're being respectful of.
We're professionals around
And
here.
Oh, yeah.
now like that. Man, I hope he comes here to port so we can go see him and share a cup of Joe.
I really
and-
would. I would love to see him, bring him some
He-
coffee and have a little coffee with
he's
him.
number one on my wish list of hugs personally
Aw.
now. To see him and just give him a hug and feel that energy from him.
And I was thinking about this when I was like mentally preparing to have this conversation. There's certain guitar players that you hear a couple of notes and you know it's that person. Like Santana can play a couple
yes.
notes, you
Yes.
know it's
Yeah.
Santana. Trey, you
Yes.
know it's Trey.
Jerry.
you know it's Jerry. Jorma, you know it's Jorma. When you hear
It's got
there's a certain
signature.
and that's weird to me, man. Like
It's
as a guitar
I feel
player,
like
any
it's-
guitar player that knows how to play a chord can play that chord. But how does it sound like you?
This is what I think. It's your spirit coming through the notes. That's what your spirit sounds like. That's what Jerry's spirit sounds like. So that's what Jorma's spirit sounds like.
That's heavy.
It's really heavy, but that's what I immediately
But,
thought.
So then if that's the case, then why don't all guitar players have that?
Because maybe they haven't been able to sink in with what their spirit, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know how you can think something with your heart and your head and you won't do it?
Yeah.
And so similar, you are a musician and maybe you're playing correct notes and good music, but you're not synced up with your heart.
You're not singing.
So
yeah.
I think that is a real thing, that your spirit shines through and you can't make or unmake it happen. It's real.
Yeah, yeah. It's trippy to me.
a thing that happens. That is.
When I went back and listened to Surrealistic Pillow, and there's just a certain sound to that album that's unlike anything else, and the sound of his guitar there is the sound of his guitar now, just older.
Well, I was listening to Genesis on the way home.
Yeah, you sent it to
I
me.
sent it to you, and it was so sweet. And I listened to a few other songs, and that's the vibe that I got, just like a sweetness to that playing. And
makes sense now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, like
Pretty
you
dope.
said, thank God for that Surrealistic Pill album, because that wrote his ticket. Like you said, after that, we got to do whatever the fuck we wanted to do.
Surrealistic Pillow is something else.
You know,
man.
I feel like what he was saying, it's not just in the music industry, it's in everything in life. Like, if you're good and talented enough at whatever it is that you're wanting to do, you can pretty much say F you to whatever, because people are going to want what you've got.
Well, he also said you have to have luck too. You got to get the breaks.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. That's a huge part. I'm glad he acknowledged that, because sometimes people are like, luck schmuck. It's like kind of like magic. Like it doesn't exist.
It just happened.
But no, it's true.
That's something that definitely came across in all the talking and everything. Like a lot of people from that era and being who he doesn't have, there's no ego coming through. Like,
oh no, like I'm
That's me.
fucking.
Well, I'm sure he had it. He said,
he's
when
got
you
it
were
tucked in his pocket
Yes.
to pull out for like fun. And
Exactly.
But man, what
But,
a treat.
Look, you have a career of 50 years. What are you trying to prove anymore?
Yeah, no, nothing.
You're like he said, I like playing in front of an audience. That's why I'm still doing it.
I did it.
You know,
Yeah.
like it's not like, oh, I'm trying to win a Grammy. I'm trying to. It's.
Well, like-
do you know? Could you imagine? Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to get
He's
noticed
in the
by.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, look what he's getting ready. You talked about that upcoming tour with Susan Tedeschi and Derek Trucks. I mean, I'm curious to see what that's like, and
Just
hopefully it makes it out here with him.
thing that trips me out with him is just how young he seems.
Yeah,
I think of like when I was 18 years old, an 85-year-old was fucking ancient.
Yeah, it's just not the case anymore.
not the same
Age is not
anymore.
the same anymore.
No.
It is not at all.
no,
I
I tell you, my dad does. He's 83, and well, some days he sounds like 83. No offense, pops, but most of the time not.
yeah, that happens.
Like he was saying, like we said, he still has that 18-year-old
Yeah.
brain, like all of us. It's like
wild.
I can climb a mountain, I can do this until you have certain limitations, but
Until your body reminds you how
kick
old
an
you are.
ass.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for listening. And
You're welcome for this one.
The No Simple Road's back. And yeah, that's it. We will be back next week with more stuff and things. Until then, take care of each other, smile at a stranger, safety third, and take care of yourself, man, because you only have one health. You don't get another one. Love y'all. Peace.
Like twist and turn, the mission turn, and it's a journey. Wish the world has many problems, but it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hella means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? No simple road. 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 My windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
This is Lawrence Lanahan, journalist, musician, and host of Rearranged, an Osiris Media podcast about music arranging. Once a song is written, arrangers make musical decisions that shape how we end up hearing the song. And we're not just talking about adding orchestral accompaniment like horns and strings or doing a cover version of a song. Arrangement can be putting happy music over dark lyrics, using samples, recording all acoustic, even tiny decisions like putting an electronic loop into an acoustic song to draw your attention to an important turn of phrase. It's all arranging. Rearranged episodes are documentary essays where I use arrangements to answer some big questions, like what is a song? And what can a song become? And how can the sound of a song change the meaning you take from it? Listening this way has changed my relationship with music. Tune into Rearranged, and maybe it'll happen for you too. Learn more at rearrangedpodcast.com.
Osiris.